Muchachos y muchachas, if you're like me and if you're old enough like me, probably not Gen Z unless you're looking these shows up on reruns. In the early thousands, we were really attracted to reality TV. It was something new for us. It was a new entertainment venue. And in a way, we had a first look into people's lives and how they lived on a day-to-day, even if it was a little bit scripted or coordinated. But we would watch shows like A Simple Life with Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton simply because it was hilarious and quirky. Even The Real World, MTV, Jersey Shore. And in a very peculiar way, we were also attracted to a show called The Girls Next Door, which featured 3 girlfriends of Hugh Hefner. And the look inside of this Playboy mansion type life was more glamorized. And, it just really set a different sort of perspective as a viewer. Recently, A&E has published a new show that is called The Secrets of Playboy, and it instantly attracted me to watch because it really showcases the absolute back end of that life and the dark world behind it. And I've got a review for you because I watched the first 2 episodes. Stay right there. We're going to go through it. Friends, the time to prepare for bad times is during good times. If you know a big storm is coming, you prepare in advance. Same goes for our nation's future. Things seem calm right now, but it's the perfect time to prepare for the next big crisis. That's why we recommend stocking up on emergency food from My Patriot Supply. They're America's #1 preparedness company with millions of happy, well-prepared customers. Their food lasts for up to 25 years in storage. It's an insurance policy you can eat. When you need it, it will be there. And right now, you can save $50 on a 4-week emergency food kit. This kit provides breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, and snacks totaling over 2,000 calories a day. Every family in America should have one of these. Go to preparewithnatalie.com and save $50 on your next 4-week food kit. That's preparewithnatalie.com. Do it before the peanut butter hits the fan. Go to preparewithnatalie.com. All right. So like I said, I actually did watch these 2 episodes that just aired on A&E. Now, usually I'm not really a purveyor of television too much unless it's like a documentary, something that I can learn from, something that documents something very, I guess, strenuous in our society or in our history. Then I become very attracted to it, and especially like crime documentaries, things that have happened in the past, retrospectively. I also love retro pop culture, so that's another reason why. But anyway, back to the story. So recently, A&E just published this new series on the Playboy mansion and the life behind it. It's called The Secrets of Playboy. And really, this trailer attracted me to this sort of series because, it showed Hugh Hefner, and we've known Hugh Hefner in our, culture, pop culture, to be like this. Not necessarily me, but I'm saying like in general, in culture, he's been observed to be like this cool guy or someone who someone would be aspirational to. And, I think it's because our culture has been shaped that way. Everything has been glamorized, the high life, the things that come with it, jet set life and the gifts and the expensive designer things. And so, growing up, this was the sort of culture that I was ingrained in. This is the culture that I was brought up in, especially within our pop culture. Well, I do remember watching The Girls Next Door, and what gravitated me towards this I guess TV show was just a look into the high life. What do these girls do? What is their day to day? Especially it being the Playboy mansion, in which not a lot of people, unless you were invited there, knew too much about behind closed doors. So back then it was kind of glamorized, and it wasn't really a big deal. Just kind of showed the high life and a bit of pervasive culture, if you will. But now this episode, watching these two episodes, wow, the insight you get of the high life and the people who portray themselves in the public and as a public figure to be some way when they're really not. So I wanted to give you guys this review because I do believe that this series is very important to watch. And, you know, in the first episode, they kind of give like this prelude to the entire series. You know, who is Hugh Hefner? How did he get his start? And, you know, what did the life look like? And it did start off with, you know, these characters, which, by the way, I'm not going to give away any spoilers. So you guys can watch this and go watch the episode yourself. But, you know, the episode sort of transcends with this history unloading on Hugh Hefner, who he is, how he got his start, and how he started to, you know, attract so many women to his circle. And it shows a pattern. You know, that's what I observed, the patterns that this man exuded on these women. And you could even see, it's weird seeing like 1960s, I think it's 1960s, like 1960s, 1970s footage of the same sort of culture, just originating back then, the same pool parties, the same dance parties, you know. And that's what some of these, I guess we could call them, I don't know what to call, we can call them witnesses when this isn't a trial, but we can call them, I guess, just partakers, you know, and people who experience things. So these women and ex-staff who are testifying in the documentary, they really give this sense of what it was like, what it originated like back then. And, you know, they gave this big account that, you know, oh, it was glamorous. You could be yourself. It was one of the most, you know, progressive party scenes that we've ever experienced. And you just felt free to do whatever you want and be yourself. And it was so welcoming. And, you know, what that made me think of is just the sort of wolf in sheep's clothing type of attraction suite, because it does look great. It looks good. And that's what gravitated me towards watching, you know, The Girls Next Door, because I saw this life and I was like, wow, you know, what does it look like behind that? So they go through that, you know, the initial stage of, oh, this is great. This is so open and free and, you know, accepting. And then it just transcends through the episode how these partakers in the, you know, Playboy Mansion experience, how their experience transcended into something more nefarious and more dark. There was one person who gave her testimony here, and, you know, hers was the most interesting to me because, you know, she even she actually started off with her father being friends with Hugh Hefner, and she ended up living at the mansion as a child. And, you know, she gives her testimony and it turned really, really dark. But, you know, what's interesting is that she originated with this, I guess, story like, oh, you know, everything was just so aspirational. I really looked up to the women. And isn't that all our sort of story, you know, especially in your adolescence as a young woman, you know, or, you know, I'm just speaking because of the women that are on this docuseries. You know, this is something that we aspire to do because this is what our society glamorizes. And, you know, she spoke of that. That was very an aspirational moment. And then, like I said, she goes into the nefarious points in which are just like really dark. And this is one of the parts where I'll say you just have to see the first episode to know what I'm talking about. So that part was really interesting, just hearing her testimony and hearing how ingrained she was in that setting, because she did grow up essentially at the Playboy Mansion and saw a lot. And then in the second episode, Holly Madison was really like the focal point of the testimony. And Holly Madison goes into her experience from the beginning to the end at the Playboy Mansion, how she went in just not like the other models, not looking like the other models, not modified. I'll put it that way, not modified. She just went in natural, and how transcended over time, how the setting sort of changed her and pressured her to look a certain way, especially with Hef's influence. And, you know, she even details her experience as being the main girlfriend of Hugh Hefner on the series A Girl Next Door, and how, you know, there were certain details that we would have never known unless they told their story in this docuseries, how dark certain aspects of their lives really took. And there are a lot of things that are included in this series, like, you know, the drugs that they were told to take, and the parties that they were told they were needed to be at, the control that Hugh Hefner exuded on these ladies. And there's one article that I did want to bring up just shortly, just to give you guys some of this insight. Now, here earlier, I believe today, because the episode actually premiered yesterday, Crystal Hefner, who was Hugh Hefner's wife from 2001? Well, I'm sorry, 2012 until 2017, until he died. She actually confirmed to Holly Madison on a detail that came out of yesterday's episode that confirmed and gave her a little bit of peace of mind that revenge porn that Hefner took of the girls were actually destroyed by her. So this is what they have to say. This is from the Daily Mail. Crystal Hefner confirms Holly Madison's claim Playboy founder had a mountain of revenge porn. Hugh's widow says she destroyed thousands of disposable camera images for you and countless other women in them. Hugh Hefner, his widow, Crystal, says that she destroyed thousands of naked photos taken on disposable cameras, confirming Holly Madison's allegation that the Playboy founder kept a mountain of revenge porn. Crystal Hefner was married to Hugh from 2012 until his death 2017, aged 91. On Monday night, in an episode in a 10-part A&E series, Secrets of Playboy, an ex-girlfriend of Hefner's, Madison, told about the dark side of Hefner's personality. And again, I just have to say, you guys might want to go check out this series. It is on A&E, because it really details some really dark, controlling aspects that Hugh Hefner bestowed upon his, his troop of girls that he kept around. Madison, Holly Madison, who was with Hefner from 2001 to 2008, said that he kept all kinds of naked pictures of women so he could allegedly use them as a form of blackmail. The former model said that she remained with Hefner at the Playboy mansion in part because she was frightened that he would publish the photos. His friends were always so supportive and speaking so highly of him, Madison said in a documentary. But that's the only side of him they ever saw. They had no idea what was going on behind closed doors. And actually, this was the only part that we saw on The Girls Next Door, if you were a watcher of that series. When I lived at the mansion, I was afraid to leave. Something that was always lingering in the back of my mind, I think since the very beginning, was that if I left there, it was just this mountain of revenge porn just waiting to come out. You know, detailing that this man was pretty dark if he was really keeping revenge porn. So this is the tweet that Crystal Hefner, Hugh Hefner's widow, confirmed that she destroyed the tapes. Holly Madison says, "Thank you." Holly Madison added, "When you would go out with Hef, he's taking all kinds of naked pictures of these women and we're wasted out of our minds. He would print out 8 copies for him and all the women. You pass them around. It was just gross." So I told you about the tweet, just basically saying that, you know, she did destroy all the tapes. Now, this gives a good sort of synopsis, but Holly Madison basically goes in this episode. She confirms that, you know, before actually appearing on the Girls Next Door or, you know, being Hugh Hefner's girlfriend, she never had casual sex like that. And, you know, she was essentially groomed, and she used a lot of these terms that we use: love bombing, grooming. She was groomed into the way the woman that Hef wanted her to be. And, you know, I think this is why I find this series so important, because again, who doesn't get attracted to big things, designer things, you know, jet set life and trips and, you know, the things of the rich and famous? Who doesn't get attracted to that? I think that's if you're not humbled enough, that becomes part of our human nature to be attracted to that type of stuff. But, some of these things are essentially honey traps. Speaking of honey traps, this is also something that I'm interested or curious to see if maybe they're going to mention the 3-letter agency that utilized the Playboy Mansion as some sort of honey trap. So we're going to hold on and see what else comes out of this. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a quick synopsis of this new series called The Secrets of Playboy. It's playing on A&E, and I would definitely check it out because there's a lot in there that I feel is important to watch and important to learn about with these types of lavish lifestyles and people who portray themselves a certain way. Because a lot of times, I'm going to say most of the time, if not all, these people who are nefarious and run these types of lives where, it's just pervasive and salacious, a lot of times they're bad people. A lot of times they're bad, not all the time they're bad people. So yeah, it's important to know and catch these signs. So anyway, I just wanted to leave you with that. Thanks so much for watching this video. Thanks so much for supporting me and the channel. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, tell somebody about this channel. And if you're new here, be sure to hit the subscribe and bell. I think that's how it goes. Anyway, all right, guys, I will leave you off with that. Be sure to also catch my podcast. I usually come on at 9:30. If I'm late, it's usually around 10 p.m. Central, 9:30 p.m. Central, around that area. So be sure to chime in. I do have it linked in the description below. Thanks so much. I'll catch you guys in the next episode.